God, I've been trying to catch up on Critical Role. They had a 5-hour, I think it was 5.5-hour episode. I'm nearly finished it, but oh, god dang, it's good. So I'm actually really excited to play this game. I've seen Mark play it, so I don't know how many endings there are. I was doing some research before, but there's actually not too much on the game. So it'll be interesting. How are you guys doing? Hope all's good. Hopefully you can hear me alright as well. I've had some weird audio issues lately, where apparently my mic has been not as loud, which is not ideal. This game is very atmospheric, so I'll have the audio for it turned up pretty loud, so hopefully it should be okay. Oops, apparently someone has to open up a computer. No, go away. I did not summon you. Go away, driver. It's just loading for a quick sec. This is my background. It's the Mighty Nine. I've also got a volume mixer on the side, just in case, because it opens pretty loud. Oof. Oh, goddamn. Okay, great thing. When you press my initial thing is always to press escape, but you're not meant to do that in this. So let's restart from the beginning. Sorry, I have to adjust the audio. Alright. Buried is an interactive story. The plot will change based on the choices you make. The story is broken into 5 chapters. Play straight through at your own pace. There is no waiting, no pauses. Enjoy, choose wisely. So, this game is called Buried. Hopefully the sound should be okay. Let's go. I open my eyes and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back, yet everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night, the sky almost beautiful. Except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened and my head. God, my head. It hurts. There's a ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? An explosion, I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. It feels very strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find other members of my crew. They could be in danger. So we're on like a construction site, so I'ma find my hat. I get up on shaky legs and look around for a moment. A few nearby trees look to have splintered and broken at the base recently. They certainly weren't like this earlier. Searching for the hard hat feels normal. It makes me feel like there maybe isn't something wrong here. I see it behind a fallen log, about 10 feet away from me. How it was thrown so far is beyond me. Driven by nothing more than habit, I walk over to it, pick it up, and place it on my head. Next, I walk over to the center of the logging site, and I don't like what I see. Before I continue, audio are good? Hopefully background isn't too loud, but you gotta get those nice crispy sounds on. This isn't a horror game, but it's it's at least a thriller. So, yeah. No Michael Jackson included. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the day is overturned. The trailer bent and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me, and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure that my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company, and we've been logging in the strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief. But it also makes me fearful, because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what has happened. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. Let's look at the truck. The truck. The hitch is completely broken. Like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion? All of the fuel on site would... Oh, had there been an explosion, all of the fuel on site would have started a fire. But there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walk through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open, an indicator that he'd been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one's here. Where the hell is everyone? I could try and make a call on my cell phone, but its battery is already running really low. Not that it matters. The reception is crap out here. There's still some yelling. Hey, guys, where is everyone? Tony? Dennis? Frank? Joe? All of their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring a few birds overhead. Might as well start walking and try and find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them. With my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My god, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait, what's that? Underneath the bulldozer? My god, it's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might roll some more. Might not be safe to get close. Might not be safe to get too close. But at the same time, I can't just leave him there. We gotta find out who it is. Hey, I yell. Are you okay? You alive? Holding onto my hat, I skip over the wrecked equipment and stray logs to get closer. I can see a bit more of the leg. The jeans are soaked in blood. I recognize the work boots. It's clearly Tony. His leg is bent at an impossible angle, nearly crushed flat. The closer I get, the more apparent it becomes that Tony didn't survive. Well, we know who it is. There's nothing I can do for him now. I start to back away slowly. In my shock, I stumble back, suddenly tripping over one of the stray logs. My head collides with one of the logs as I bite the ground, but my hard hat does the job. Thank God I decided to look for it earlier. Looking at him, I feel something raising up in my throat, but I don't know if it's scream or vomit. Woo! Safety! But I have to push it away. If I lose my cool right now, there are too many questions that will go unanswered. Shit. I can't believe this. Tony, he had 2 boys. He coached his oldest son's baseball team. He was the hardest worker I had. It was one of the most honest and reliable men I knew. This isn't right. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened to them. Hooray for safety. Would have like cracked our skull open and roll credits. Big spooks. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the latest week or so at work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears is terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds. It sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears, or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell, like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it, I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head's hurting so bad before I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the what? Accident or... Wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground motionless about 30 feet away. Let's yell! Spooky logs! Dennis! I yell. Dennis, can you hear me? Dennis lets out a shout, like someone waking from a nightmare. Then he looks back at me from the ground. Yeah, Roger, I hear you. He hollers back as I head over to him. Dennis is built like a wrestler and has a tough personality to match, but in this moment, he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. I'm glad to see him. The fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What happened? What the hell is going on? He asks. I mean, we don't know. We only think we know. But I don't think it was an explosion, because otherwise, like he said, there would have been a fire. So, don't know. The crew's missing. Missing? Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say, but it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around in the woods, as if he's just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned, the dozers too, I say, shifting my hard hat and wiping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. Well, he and I had always been on good terms. We've never been particularly close. I've always respected him. Sure, he'd come into work a few times looking like he'd been in a bar fight the night before. But I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they waited for their dad to finish up his shift. That's when it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with the news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has the right to know. It's kind of fucked, but you gotta tell him. You can't keep that from someone. Dennis's eyes fixate on me, startled. He was crushed under the dozer, I say. Dennis pauses for a moment, like he's trying to understand what I said. His eyes narrow and his bottom lip quivers. Shit, he says. I can tell that he's fighting back tears. He and Tony have been tight, almost like brothers. Hey, he adds quickly, as if trying to escape the reality of Tony's death. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger. He says. It was like this flare of white light. It came right up out of the ground like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment, or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. This game is heavy. Aliens! You can speculate now. It's the cluster! Joke's on you, all of this spookiness is just deceiving me first. This is the alternate version, I should say. Well, I mean, if it came out of the ground, then it probably went up, so... And it looked like light, so both of these questions are dumb. I was gonna say where to go. It just shot up into the sky until it was out of sight. When? I'm not sure, he answers. But I had finished about 10 trees for the day. I was about to top one. That's when it happened. You're almost done with 10 trees? Yeah, that's the important thing. You chopped 10 trees! Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when the light blew up. Why? You don't believe me? I think you're exaggerating about your 10 trees, Dennis. No, I mean, shit's fucked, who knows? I'm gonna say I believe. He saw what he saw, I think to myself. There's no reason to lie about this. My god. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says. But if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. But if it's still the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. Excuse me. The right side... his right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it, and there are splatters of it here and there, but also a very red, Let us start that sentence again. Jesus fuck. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. The light of the planet. It's the light of the planet, and it was angry because of the trees. It was the Lorax. It all makes sense. Well, I mean, there's lots of blood, so it fucking hurts, and he's a buff dude. He's gonna be like, nah, I'm fine. So, I wanna know how he got it. Yeah, the Lorax. The Lorax speaks for the trees. Haven't you seen the Lorax? I'm gonna make you watch the Lorax. How bad can I be? I'm not sure, Dennis replies. Oh, what? Okay. I'm not sure, Dennis replies. I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light. It's when I notice that the strange ringing noise is still in the air. Hey, I say, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question, and he just nods. Yeah, I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something unnerving about this. We'll be okay, it's probably nothing, it's freaking me out. We ain't about no toxic masculinity. Shit's freaky. I'm not gonna be like, I'm sure I sound scared, but I don't really care. I look to Dennis and see that my confusion and fear have seeped into him. And that disappointment Oh, and is that disappointment in his expression as well? I think so. It's as if he expects me to be stronger, to assure him that we're fine and nothing is out of the ordinary is happening. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try and call Frank? Dennis asked. I know he had a cell on him today. Not yet. Luckily, I still have some battery left. I pull up my cell and call Frank. Happy I didn't make the call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. Then I hear his phone go off behind the stack of logs. Look, there are spiders all over my house. I hate this. Behind a stack of logs, Dennis and I give each other a look. As his phone goes to voicemail, I hang up, and we walk behind the logs to find Frank's phone on the ground, abandoned. We look around for Frank, but find nothing. Not a single trace. It's then that I notice something really odd. A 10-foot wide hole in the ground, right near where the phone was. But there's no stray piles or removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth, wide but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted. No shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground. He muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, the ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on. We might not be safe here. But that ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of the crew went. Now let's check out the sound. It's great. Agree and get away from here. I mean, it's an into it. Let's check it out. Check it out. Something's not right, I say. And if there's a mechanical noise like that, you think someone's out here? He asked. Maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah, you go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be here waiting for you. Better hurry though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be out. Oh my god. I saw that word and was like, trouncing? I don't even know what that word is. It doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be walking around in the forest. But we need some answers right away too. Dennis, if I have to suffer, you do too. Oh no, he already is suffering. What do you think we should do? Should we bring Dennis with us? He is pretty hurt though. I am leaning towards bringing him with me. Let's bring him with us. No, you're coming with me. I bend over and hoist him against my shoulder. He resists just barely, and then gives in. He's looking at me like he's terrified of me now, making a moan in his throat. We start moving through the woods quickly, with no idea where the rest of the crew is. I mean, absolutely. With no idea where the rest of the crew is, I worry that they could be in danger. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country, can find my way around the forest without much of a problem, but I'm feeling dizzy. I'm leaning against the tree, and I see something that has no business being out here. Our logging crew has been out here for 3 weeks, and I've never seen it before. Aliens are trying to protect the trees. Yeah, I believe that. Ooh, the fuck is mixture of a shack and a bunker? It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds, and plain old erosion also makes it look sort of mystical. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. What the hell is this in this house? I mean, I don't fucking know. I mean, it might be an old power station, but why would it be built into the rocks like that? Dunno. You purchased this land, right, boss? Dennis asked. Didn't you survey it? I certainly did, I say, getting a little defensive. But this wasn't here. Do you think the others maybe went in there? He asked nervously. Why would they do that? I asked. I don't know, but they aren't out here. And they aren't inside. And if they aren't inside, they're probably dead, like Tony. He looks to the ground as he says this. I want to go inside, not just to find my crew, but also to appease my curiosity. That ringing noise is coming from inside. But something about this place seems incredibly strange, especially located all by itself out here. It simply doesn't belong. I wonder, do we knock or just go in? Dennis asks. I can tell that he is trying to make a joke, but it falls flat. I'm starting to think his humour is a defense mechanism for all his fear. We both look ahead and take a moment to realize what we're about to do and start forward. We get no more than 3 feet closer when Dennis wobbles. You okay? Reach out to steady him. Well, duh, he's not okay. We've established this. Steady him. I reach out quickly, straining my injured knee. You're not using your knee to hold someone. Shut up. Jesus. You don't carry someone, like, with your knee, sorry. I barely make it in time, grabbing him under his arms and keeping him from hitting the ground. I'm okay, he said. Just, can you help me walk for a little while? Just help me inside, please. I can't deny him his request. I've never seen him this weak. It's a little uncomfortable to see. Makes me glad I decided to keep him with me. I help Dennis into the weird little building. The front door opens easily, even though there's clearly a lock on it. Maybe the lock was supposed to keep someone in. It's hard to tell. I still hear the ringing noise. It's definitely coming from in here. Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor, there's a concrete floor and dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, we hear the ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confined at first, but a smell of concrete... Oh, what a smell! But a small set of concrete steps leads about 5 feet down, revealing a corridor. I read small and set at the same time, so I put them together as smell for some reason. The concrete smells. Spook! This place nasty. It's a massive corridor. In fact, like I'm in some kind of building underground. This seems to go on forever. This corridor is mostly dark, with emergency lights every 10 feet or so. I assume we're now underground, because this corridor extends far beyond the walls of the building we entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate us finding. Let me start that sentence again, sorry. I realize that someone might not appreciate finding us again. I mean... we want to find somewhere, hopefully, to get Dennis patched up, so I'm going to say quickly. I'm eager to figure out what's going on here. Our footsteps echo loudly in the dust and dirt. Dennis leans on me for support. If there's anyone here, it's not like we're trying to be quiet and stealthy with the intention of sneaking up on them. If anyone is listening, they definitely know we're here now. As I carry Dennis to the far end of this otherwise featureless place, see a flash of concrete stairs leading down. I have to sit Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? Stop worrying, man, he says. I'll be okay. I just need a minute to rest. But looking at him, I'm not so sure. I can still hear the ring noise every so often, coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead at the concrete stairs, pointing towards them so that Dennis can see. Can you make it down those stairs? I ask. He stands up slowly and is visibly making an effort to not fall back down. Yeah, he says and sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me. I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and just by looking at them, I get the sense that we're crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. Too late! It's Damon's gym. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damned ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. Dennis makes it a few steps down before he's leaning on the wall. He's breathing like he just finished a marathon. Let's give him a break for a sec. Let's take a break. Excuse me. Putting my hand towards his shoulder to help steady him. Dennis lets out a sigh. Thanks. I don't feel too great, boss. As we both squat down on the stair, my mind seems to lock on the unknown fate of the rest of the crew. Frank is married, and I've met his wife a few times. A nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realise I might never again get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe, well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats. He has been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. If I can still find them, I still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. After a few moments, Dennis says, "Alright, let's keep going." And we both stand up, leaning on each other. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick my foot in search of the next step. I can't help but feel like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me, expecting a monster to reach out to the darkness, slicing me through. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. We're closer to that ringing noise now. A door sits securely in the wall and looks just out of place. Reading's hard, apparently. A door sits securely in the wall and looks just out of place down here as I feel. A sliver of light slips through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. A small embossed print above the panel says, Level 01 Entrance Gate, Transport Sector. There's a button with no label. Let's look at the panel before we go pressing buttons. The panel looks like a diagnostics or alert system of some kind. Each label meant to communicate communicate some status. Lockdown engage, experiment in progress, shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off. One of the phrases has a slow blinking red light next to it. The only powered light in this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps in front of me, taking the lead. Let's go, he says. I want to find out what the hell this place is. As Dennis walks through, that ringing or beeping, whatever it is, gets louder. The door closes behind us with a click. I can't help but notice the wobble Dennis has as he... I can't help but notice the wobble in Dennis's step as he lets out a grunt. You sure you're healthy enough to keep going? I ask. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be in the woods right now. He seems scared, Something I've never seen before. Angry, yes. Upset, yes. But Dennis is never scared. What did you see? I don't know what it was, boss. It was like someone had left a radio on, crackling, but we don't have any radios on site. It was, I don't know. It was like something in the forest was moving. I gave him a doubtful look as he cast his eyes to the ground, frustrated. I know how it sounds, he says, but I know what I felt. It was like walking into a funeral parlor, feeling death and gloom everywhere. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear, I nearly forgot about the weird noise. It had just become background noise. We take a few more steps, and I can now see where we are. It makes no sense, yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colours of metal are easy to identify, but it just doesn't belong here. End of chapter 1. Spook! You and 36% of players left Tony's body where you found it. Secrets. You and 76% of players were upfront with Dennis about Tony's death. Trust. You and 55% told Dennis you believed his story. Curiosity. You and 75% of players went to investigate the ringing sound. Teamwork. You and 64% of players decided to bring Dennis with you. Huh. Oh, a lot of people moved Tony's body. Weird. What do you guys think? Thinking is aliens? It's demons, Jim. If they speak English, it's maybe. Yeah, Bigfoot would have. Would Bigfoot speak English? Bigfoot do the beat boops. Drink. I need to open the Tiltify page. Sorry. So just a reminder. I know you just saw my screen for a second. Don't worry about it. We are still raising money for Cure Cancer Australia. Our goal is 500, and we've only got 5 in there right now. Callum's the only person that's donated. So we have till the end of March, but we're trying to get the word out there. So share and donate if you can. With that, we'll jump into chapter 2. I actually don't know if we'll get through all of this. There are only 5 chapters and they're roughly about that long. It's only been like half an hour already, and I'll go till about 9ish, maybe 8:30. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to read better. Reading is difficult sometimes. We're standing on a thin platform. What looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used but not old. Wow, that's loud. Good sounds, but there are small overhead lights that are carried down, except they're running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are impressive. The size of the place makes people vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. There's a small light further ahead, then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe. Turn it up some loud. Why are we in a subway tunnel? Dennis doesn't answer. The reality of what we're seeing sinks in. Whatever this place is, it's buried way under. It's solid now. And there's some other sound. Something like a faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? Think we're safe yet? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. Well, he seems to be limping along much better than when I first stumbled onto him. He's still in a rough shape. I'm leading him here. Should probably make him feel confident in that. Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. We weren't too far to go back, I say. Besides, we get caught for trespassing. Pretty sure we'll slide by. Good. You're in pain. We've got to find the rest of our crew. We can still be here somewhere. Dennis nods. And looks reassured, albeit. From the looks of it, we can either go left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy. I get the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly I jerk my head to the right as I hear an unmistakable sound of something. Did you hear something? I asked Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. I'm not sure, he says. Maybe. It sounded kind of like footsteps. I wait a moment. The sound doesn't come again. So there's our options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that well at least we'll be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness. I also heard footsteps in that direction. Into the darkness. We decided to go into the darkness. Is anyone here that we were speaking to? Right, it is. Nope. Welcome to the Nope Boat. Welcome to the Nope Boat. Thank you, Aiden, for the $10. Sorry, every time I click off the game, it shows my desktop. So yeah, sorry. Okay, so I go into darkness if there's no one here. That's cool. Okay. It's just weird with this one. This place is dope. I mean, like the scenery stuff is dope. As we leave the glow of electric lights, things instantly start to feel a bit more sinister. I look at Dennis's injuries again. The gash along his side is inflamed, and while the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that is soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond the line. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep dark tunnel where there's no business being here. He's right. The darkness we find ourselves in feels thick, like walking in syrup. I sneeze. Excuse me. I'm reminded of the fear I felt as a child when I had to go into the basement to fetch tools for my dad. I was sure there were snakes or spiders or monsters of unimaginable horror lurking down there. I feel that same way here, walking through the tunnel. It's when I see a human figure, far back in the tunnel, silhouetted in a faint light at the end. He's standing on some other platform up ahead, like we can't see us. It looks like he might be holding a gun. It's too dark to be sure. I feel like I need to sneeze again. Fuck. Stop it. It snows. Behave. You got that hard hat? Yeah, a hard hat can stop a bullet, right? Just run into head first. Headstrong, take you on. I mean, staying quiet, he might like turn around and be like, who's there? And then we're dead. At least if we shout at him, he'll be like, At least it's a human voice. So I'm gonna shout it. Hey, who's there? My voice echoes through the tunnel, bouncing endlessly off the walls. The figure turns towards us and freezes. Dear, seems in danger. Why the hell did you do that? Dennis whispers to me. We don't know who that is. We don't know where we are. I don't know, I say. Maybe you can answer some questions. Well, that doesn't happen. The person can't see us in the dark. After a moment, the figure rushes away. Oh my god, he fucking died. Spook, spook. As we head further into the tunnel, we're reaching the platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they're dim, red, like emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion in the London site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. We come to the large open area ahead of the tunnel. It further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that's buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we've walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails, and then even up the small utility ladder that's bolted to the opposite side of the trailway. Oh, still turn it down? Cool. Thank you for the heads up. When he reaches the large open area, resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heavy breath. Ah? You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of where we are, I'm not in the mood to Dennis to act like a baby. He's not acting like a baby. He's been injured, you ass. We got this. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself. So I decide to cut up some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I don't know how you're still on your feet if I'm being honest. Stopping this, he says with a weird laugh. Need a minute to rest? I ask, as warmly as I can muster. No, if I sit down to rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down and help him to his feet. We get ourselves up onto the platform. I read that's nice, Jesus, that's weird. Right in front of us is an entrance to a long hallway, exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize these red emergency lights might be on for someone else who's actually supposed to be here. Like that guy I saw earlier, standing on the platform. Maybe... we've all been yelling this whole time, so let's just keep going. Hello? Anyone here? I ask, my voice raised to almost a shout. There's not much of an echo. My voice falls flat on the rock. I'm almost glad I don't get an answer. Hearing anything else in this hollow silence would have given me a heart attack. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious it's meant to be a secret. And even if it is supposed to be a secret, there was a power outage recently. Maybe most everyone, okay, everyone has been evacuated, then why was that one person still here? This thought does nothing to make me feel any better, as well as walk towards the platform exit. We step inside and it seems to be just as empty as the place we've come from. Weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks awful. Excuse me? The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. This is the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming into the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls, and the floor looks well clean, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here. A small flashing red light above the ceiling seems to flash in both. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that's had my mind. And then he asks the question that's been on my mind since I found that recording in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise, and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking. Really? I really don't know why my volume is being such an arsehole. I really need to get a mic at some point. It'll be way easier. I'll just turn this down. Yeah, I don't know why it changed. It's like, haha, joke's on you. You'll never be heard again. Get another drink. Yeah, I don't know why. Hopefully I'll be able to get a proper mic at some point. Cause yeah, my headset just does this. It just changes audio and just is super weird sometimes. Um, I genuinely have no idea why. It might be the input for my computer, or it might just be the Actually, I have no idea. It might just be the input. I mean, there shouldn't be. Um, I've like fucked around with the settings a lot. I don't know. It's super weird, but it's fine. As long as you guys can hear me properly now, I've turned down the audio like a lot. But let's go. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by a bright white fluorescent one. The mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow, the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped. So it had been an alarm. But for what? Just the power failure? Failure? That's a hard word to say. We head down the hallway, the electric hum of the lights sounding airy overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long, with two main doors. One door opens into a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps again. Dennis? Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just gonna sit here while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. That's horrible. Let's look in the laboratory. Ooh. Fancy. I walk inside. I see small vials and glass containers held in a clear glass case. Jesus. Everything is either glass or silver. I instantly feel like I'm duding the place up. I notice several test tubes in a glass case, as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have clear fluid trapped inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in screensaver mode. Ooh. Alien goo or technology? I mean, he's not gonna know what the hell it is in the test tube unless he drinks it. Yeah, what is the screensaver? We need to know. I hit the enter key and a plain grey background pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on a folder labelled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with formulas and names I mostly don't understand. But there are some things that are easy to understand, things that make my blood go cold. Subject 6, cause of death, embolism or aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery mode. Spherical, liquid, induced comatose state first. Terracore Co equals possible plutonium supplier. Weird. Look at the test tubes! Excuse me. I can't help but check out the test tubes. They're filled with varying green and light blue fluids. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt resting at the bottom of it. Another holds what looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid. Only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. At first, it looks like it's expanding and contracting, like a blowfish. Then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely. As I look closer, it springs back into existence in a completely different test tube. I'm so embarrassed when I actually jump back. I take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air. It makes me think that someone had used this laboratory recently. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor. But I don't get very far, because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Ah yes, America. It's hard not to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It's aimed directly at my head. Good thing I'm wearing a hard hat. Dennis jumps up and stands next to me, like he's ready for a run for it. I recognize him by his height and build. He's a person I could barely see back in that dark tunnel. Headbutt the gun with your hard hat. No. As a fair. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into the surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels dreamy. This feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. I recognize you. You stomped around and set off the security mics in the entrance. What? I ask, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asks. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettled me. He's scared, but there's something else. We're just loggers, man. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, Bullshit. But for some reason, I'm pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out for long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are the others with you? The armed man asked, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation? I think to myself. If only I'd left that damn ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I'm a good guy. We're just looking for our crew. We have other crew members that we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asks, seeming confused. Pardon. If this man thinks that we're nuts, there's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even hairier. Excuse me. I'm trying to get comfy. But how did you get in here? The man asks. I point down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. The expression calms a bit. I'm still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. Please put the gun down. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. And with that, he uses the muzzle of the gun to flip my hard hat onto the floor. My hard hat! No! I'm not protected. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best. But it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. And he levels the rifle at Dennis, but I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Boop! Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused by my actions as I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we're here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says. But now that the power is on, I think it might be too late anyway. For what? I ask. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of the rifle. The man then repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense, and honestly, makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? No, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I'm the president. Oh my god, it's so tempting to click that I'm the president. But no, what the hell are you talking about? No, I say, we're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story, the man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still. Sooner or later, someone will come along, and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward, as if has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says. We don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then, in a movement so fast that I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he's moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his left arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I've not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed. I'm paralyzed in shock for a moment as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall I could use as a bludgeon. I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. Punch him! Be the monk! Dennis has the man pinned to the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help him, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never, really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it's apparently effective as the man's head snaps back hard and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized, and I can feel the shift in the situation. Yes, although he's basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that feels wild with each second I look at him. I gotta keep punching him so bad. Step back. He's definitely out now. No threat. Or at least that's what I think. But he surprised me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forearm. Connecting with my forehead! Damn it! My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. It seemed like his last attack was more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back, ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, I say, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks man, that was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing, his eyes look to the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far, and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I walk over and pick up my hard hat off the floor. After placing it on my head, I turn towards the man. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time, I won't just hit you, I say, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly as he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us, its steel sliding doors larger than a normal elevator. Don't worry, we got the hard hat back. It's okay now. But we still got kicked in the eye, but fuck, it hurts. Before I get to the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name? I ask. Marcus. Can you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. Looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be? I ask. No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. We're safe now. There's gotta be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit for my friend here. Where might I find one? Down on the second floor, but we can't go down there. It's on level 2. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend, so take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Then seemingly to himself, if he matters, I make this place run. Protect the hard hat at all cost. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into. With a frickin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment of what sort of trouble I could get into hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things would have gone terribly wrong in this place. What things had gone terribly wrong, sorry. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell had happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it will be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. He did knock our hard hat off. This guy doesn't seem like he's capable of sympathy. He seems like a prick, and also I know meta things, so fuck this guy. He can be shoved into a burning of fire. Also, he knocked off my hard hat. Fuck you. I place the rifle to his head. While I know I don't have it in me to pull the trigger, I have no problem holding it there. Your job or your life, I say harshly. My swollen eye from where he kicked me isn't making me feel exactly generous. He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. This is a felony, he says, but I can tell he's not going to fight me anymore. Good. Now take us to the second lift. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear the light mechanical hum behind steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. Fuck your chicken strips. It's exceptionally well lit, and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad in front of the right panel by the door, with the options for 3 sub-level floors. It looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get the first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here? I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, that's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls into the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I could see that much on his face. Slowly we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motor fills the space. Reading's difficult, guys. Like, dang. So what can you do, asshole? Marcus bristles at the question, but I think that's fair. I mean, He's not allowed to unlock the doors or even get medical supplies. Why keep a guy around who can't even grab a band-aid without permission? Without me, nothing would get done here, Marcus answers. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn on the computers without help. It's 'cause they're old. Ugh. The top coder of my class at MIT. Oh, the top coder of my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground, helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. What goes on here? It goes, it goes, it goes, it goes, it goes. Reading is difficult. You're not Marcus, you're not an asshole. Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me. I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified. And the things I don't know... And the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I asked, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. He probably runs all of the things, so how big is this place? Rude ass. It's a government facility of the highest secrecy, Marcus says, a research facility. It goes 4 stories underground, and quite frankly, it scares the piss out of me that we got you two in here so early. So easily, sorry. Why is that? I ask. This is a Black Ops graveyard, he replies. Even the CIA don't know this place exists. Well, clearly the CIA don't know how to look, because I mean, they just stumbled upon it by like walking around for a few minutes. This isn't the game I thought it was. Yeah. What knocked out the lights? Trust me, it gets weird. Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage and then what? Marcus says weakly. And then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? The whole place seemed to shake, and when the lights went out, I was checking the monitors when it happened, and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or two before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. Honestly, I thought Black Ops was just that shooting game. Haha. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I feel very... Need to learn how to talk, apparently. What? I ask, feeling a sharp fear worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down there. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault for a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place? Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place. Just in case, you know. Just in case of what? He opens his mouth to answer, but the elevator comes to a stop, and the door slides open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He makes his exit and heads directly... Wow. Apparently reading is not available. Shutting down. He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns and emergency vaults in every single room? End of chapter 2! Apparently I'm very tongue-tied today. He's being a little bitch. You and 58% of players called out to Marcus when you saw him in the tunnel. Selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. You and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after his surrender. That is too many people. Should have bet the shit out of him. Ow, my shoulder. So, what time is it? I can either do one more chapter and then play a different game for a little bit, or we can play a different game now, and then we can finish the rest of this off later. Because there is a game called Reigns, as well as I forget what it's called. What game is it? I'll try and find it. So, pardon, excuse me. There it is. So there's, let me click the game, please. It's Reigns. And also, Unrailed is really fun as well. Oops, okay. Apparently it just opened and closed. Good. We'll do one more chapter, and then I'll do a couple of rounds of Rain. Just to mix it up. Ooh, technological. We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what obviously is a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the operations center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. Where's the first aid kit? I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks, as if he'd forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh, yeah. He rushes to the left side of the room. He hunkers down by the open panel on the wall. There he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall, what I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. He's getting another gun. Fuck you, dude. I peer over Marcus's shoulder into the vault he's opened. It's much larger than it looks on the outside. It's partially filled with file folders marked classified, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, a peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slips open. For a split second that it's open, I see a scanned document of a coloured photo. The photo shows a male corpse with his guts on the outside of its body, as if it had been turned inside out. There's also a massive swelling on his head, like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet colour fluid, while rather pretty in colour, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. While I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Come on, I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. Nay! Oh god, where was I? There, okay. I slide the first aid kit over to him and scramble to get to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's fainted fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulder as the dried blood holds into place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods and doesn't seem to care. If I pull it off quickly, it could hurt him so much more. But also like pulling the band-aid off quickly. But that's like dried blood in an open wound. Rồi carefully. I lift the shirt off gently and it makes a sucking sound. There's so much blood that the moisture tries to keep the shirt pulled to him. Dennis lets out a little... I don't know why they use moan. It's so... He makes a sound of pain, but seems to relax, in spite of his injuries. With the shirt fully removed, the extent of his injuries become more clear. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I looked over to Marcus, hopefully, and ask, "You have any training?" "Zero," he says. "Sorry." It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be much of help anyway. I start by taking out several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I'd figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in this kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me, and he looks apprehensive, but also scared. "Be honest," Dennis says, hopeful. "How bad does it look? Do you think I'll live?" I mean, there's a bunch of researchers and shit in here. There's bound to be someone alive here that can help him, so he'll be fine. "Good to know," he says, "because I sure don't feel like that." "You've been through hell," he says. "I think it feels worse than it actually looks." "Thanks, that's a relief." "Hello, people. Hope you're having a good evening." "I won't lie, you're gonna have a scar," I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humour in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape, then I reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meagre, but it's all I can do. "Thanks, Roger," he says, actually managing to force out a smile. "I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine." I'm not so sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. I look back to Marcus, and he's looking back at us deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell up from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have let him off so easy. Kick him in the face! "Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility?" I ask him. "If there's something better, I don't know about it," he says. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different. A slight change in his demeanour. He's seen something on those monitors that has him frightened, more than he already was before. What is it? What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room. It's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell the truth. Just get up and look at the monitors, he's not going to tell you shit. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I'd missed moments ago. After a few moments I see a few things that even I can comprehend, hidden in complex information on most of the screen. On one screen I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message that is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Another message trickling along the bottom of a black screen says, "Safety locks on level 3, containment doors engaged, override." I see I see still scenes of a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were just on a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. And from just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. What happened to that person there? Sorry, having a drink. I have no idea. I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell? I ask. There's something still happening? Are we still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing that he's already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold, and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment, I consider just tearing into him, a few punches and a shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now. But I'm not sure which will provide more answers, asking him calmly or kicking his ass. Now, thanks for being two of my viewers, Adam. Normally, me? Violence? I've never. We've asked him calmly. He ain't gonna give us shit. Also, I need to sneeze again. God damn it. Phew. Am I sneezing again or not? Decide. Please hurry. It's fine. Ooh, sorry about that. Okay. So, long story short, fuck this guy. I figure since he's just an IT guy, I can probably intimidate him. I grab Marcus by the collar of his shirt and pointed to the screen. Why have you been spying on my crew? I shout. Excuse me. It was part of my job. Mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Marcus tries to draw up some anger of his own, but it isn't as toxic as mine. I still know there's a fight on my hands if I want one. Because, he says, your logging site was setting up less than a mile away from the entrance to a highly classified government facility. How the hell was I supposed to know that? I screamed at him. Where were the signs and guards? Marcus gives me that crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber tract you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? I ask. He shakes his head and exhales. It's like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces. We just track bodies and names. If they're tracking bodies and names, they know where the people are. Where the hell is my crew? Look, Marcus says. All of you were on site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I checked though. I can tell he's starting to get rattled by this interrogation. He continues with his eyes fixed on the keyboard. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not, I don't know. I'll tell you if I did, okay? Well, are they inside the facility? I shout. You have cameras everywhere, right? Look for them. Marcus puts his hands up defensively. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras. Classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Did they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus says. The depth of influence in the facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. What the hell goes on here? He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything. Probably very little. But what I do know is that it's more than the Black Ops. What does that mean? I ask. There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't. Not at all. But I don't want him to know about that. You said there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure, and cringes. If this power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way with the way he's talking in riddles. I don't. Ah, God, Dennis says. I look over to him and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I look to the monitor and see the logging site, but more specifically, I see an overturned dozer and the leg sticking out from under it. Wearing work boots, right where I left him. Tony. The fact of his death seemed abstract, almost like it happened in some other world, or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different actually seeing him. My God. Suddenly, something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happens at the facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis, after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's someone who can help us. Oh yeah. Oh, I still have chicken in my fridge I need to cook. I probably can't put it back in there. No, I have to cook it tonight. Okay, I'll do that after stream. Okay, hold on, I need to... Is Marcus going? Wheeling around, he sounds happy as goes. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, it doesn't sound like Marcus is going. I don't want Marcus to be left alone with Dennis, because he'll try to kill him. You gonna be okay? It's fine. Go see who it is. Giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Okay, good. He's coming with me. At least I can shoot him if he acts up. Yes, be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be hesitant to shoot us. Yeah, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand. I don't know what gave me the guts to actually... Oh, I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back at Dennis, I run out into the second level hallway. Okay, talking makes you thirsty. Okay, let's see what it was. There seems to be demons here, so... Oh, spooky sounds, I love that. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice that this level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are now on. The hallway is adorned with numbered yellow doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's cleaned and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see the fleeting motion of something darker cutting quickly to the left and down a corridor. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod, and we continue chasing after the person we saw blaze by the command center just moments ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus when we first met, armed and scared. Let's shout at them. Hi! What is up, my dude? Hey, stop! Who's there? I get no response, and I'm unsure if I should be relieved or upset about this. The last person we met nearly killed us with a rifle. Why would this person be any different? I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there, about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat, dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. And you're Mark? Marcus. She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. I'm not going to use it. Now how do I know that? She asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command center who needs some medical attention, he says, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry. I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what's happened? Marcus asks. From the power outage? I don't know what caused it, she says, but there's an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened and she trails off, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics, Amy says. I barely escaped the third floor. I was going to go to the command center to see if any security footage showed up anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to their conversation and feeling totally in the dark. You're not going to tell me about the experiment, so what has you scared? Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you, anyway? She asks. I quickly give her my story, a logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers? Yes. She then looks at Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This is all a freak accident, and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all the questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. I decide that despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Pardon me. Sorry. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not? I ask. Sorry, I'm burping now. Oh god. Probably. Abby asks. But you'll have to find Colonel, not Colonel, god damn it. You'll have to find Colonel Barksdale. He knows where all of those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where's everyone else? I ask. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees, as if someone struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed, others were just... I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. Disappeared? Yes, she answers. They were here 1 second and just gone the next. Just... She snaps her fingers together, for effect. Gone. Something's here with us, Amy says. We've been conducting an experiment, and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. I don't even know that much. An entity. But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere, Amy responds. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access? I ask. No, I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So what do you suggest we do now? I ask. I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away. But if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? I ask. Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Let's go then, I say. It's not that easy, Amy says again. Again, looking to the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, something came through when the power went out. There are several of them, all roaming on the 3rd level. What came through? All I know is that the others referred to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors she's seen. I don't even know. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look. This is Stranger Things. All I did was run for my life. Behind me I just heard screams. All I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors. It was crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus said. I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy says. But Barksdale's on the 3rd floor and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decision. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look. She quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Now let's get Dennis from the command center and head down there together. Ooh! Oop. We enter the command center, and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his color. We're going to get you some help, I tell him, and then we're going to find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you took an hour to get my shirt off earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says, and stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. Are there any of them on this floor? I'm not sure, she says, but they are down on the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his agreement. and the four of us exit the command center. Heading back out into the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked looking site and feel a pang of sorrow. I look to the other monitors showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. Jesus. Go save that moment. I try to tell myself I'm not looking for any signs of Amy's creatures, but I can't. It's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall towards the elevator. The tension exists between us like a physical presence. Like the physical presence of these creatures? Sorry, entities. Gotta savor the bromance. It's not really a bromance. Pardon me. And back to the elevator. We step inside the elevator, and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiments we're talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that there's something of a relief for her to get some of it off her chest. There's been a lot of work going on a project. There's been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there's any real viable science behind point-to-point installation. Oh, installation? I think it is. Like teleporting? I ask. Oh my god, Micah says. I had no idea. I know there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not all that insane. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were about to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? Dennis says. I can tell that he wants to sound as if he's mocking the idea, but it fails. He's scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, the retinas was detached and its intestines were on the outside of its body. Oh god, the poor rat! Just wait till you're level 5 and get teleportation circle. It's so much easier. And it takes 6 seconds. Like, if you can't wait 6 seconds, it's really unfair. Did you ever perfect it? Well, about 6 months ago we successfully made that same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out to keep the subject on a straight course. Oops. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon arrival. Unknit? Creepy. Pardon me. Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we're deforming space-time. We're creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why, exactly? Dennis asks. Because there are so many more dimensions in space that exist than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So, when you send the rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there? I ask. Basically, and because of that, we're trying to get a better understanding of what those dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today, the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. What have you seen in these dimensions? Other worlds? Other Tegmark universes? I don't know if I said that word right. Where our laws of nature don't apply, she says, not bothering to explain what she means. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get reports. What reports? Marcus asked. I've given access to the results of the test. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset. You guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I can't believe I've wasted all my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy's quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all of this. I mean, it's kinda cool, but these people are fucked. It is kinda cool. It's kinda cool. So this is like interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way. Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous? I don't know what that means. I think that means like angry. He angry. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time I've been working for... He laughs cruelly, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet. You assholes have been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. And then the elevator doors open, and I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside of the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I've seen in the upper levels. Ooh, blood! Yum yum. Anybody want some jam? The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeable than that is all of the blood. My god, I've never seen so much blood. These creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire, Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. All the research you do down here better be worth it, I say. We have to get moving, or we're gonna lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Wow, this text like on this background is fucking with my eyes. Sorry. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale is in the hangar? I ask. If he's still alive, yes. That's where he'll be. Then let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor and the silence of level 3, and Amy's talk of the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. Well, I seem to be putting myself in chaos, so let's just keep going. The four of us start walking ahead with me in the lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks to be 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies there were, because they've been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies look like they've been fused together. Another man looks to have his legs welded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. They might have keycards on them, so I'm gonna investigate. I see half a face pushed down onto the floor like putty, barely attached to a separated skull. A single dead eye stares at me. I think I might puke. Behind me, Marcus does just that. As I listen to him heaving, my eyes cannot leave the carnage. There is blood everywhere, and a crimson pool flooding the floor. There are hunks of skin and tissue splattered. Oh, gore warning! Haha! Bit late. There are hunks of skin and tissue splattered on the wall, and a strand of unspooled intestine that clings to the floor like a dead snake. Dennis steps up beside me, and when he speaks, his voice is soft and flat. What the hell could do that to someone? He asks. The thing I saw, Amy answers. We could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and to think that she may pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes. She's visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle. She doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling, trying to process it all. It could be something that could help, but we're wasting time. I don't want to look at my blood. Let's go. Oops, it's 8 o'clock. Sorry, reminder for my pills. We leave the grisly site behind, moving to another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next room was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't been destroyed, it's just been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped, their very material distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted, and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is a standard violence I was expecting to see. There is limp arms sticking out from underneath the wreckage, and more blood. I see known signs of an explosion, which make me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath of this is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it when it was happening. What happened to these girders? What's a girder? Is it like a... Are there like the pipes and stuff? I think so. I only caught a glimpse of it, she says. It was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. They just started twisting, but not creaking or breaking. It's like these creatures are able to deform matter. She pauses there, and that's when we hear something echoing through the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what this is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from the AM radio, but there's a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What in the hell is that? I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice a whisper now. One of the creatures. That's what they sound like? Dennis asks. I can see that he's leaning against the wall, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. Anything between us and them? Not really, she says. None of the hallways are blocked off by any secure doors. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with new purpose in our step. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look. I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. Can you kill these things? I don't know, Amy says. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Then let's haul ass, huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like some new violent gravity. Ooh, big spook! Excuse me. Ooh, more jam. Yum yum. The small utility hallway is well lit, and looks as if it was designed to be only used by selected maintenance workers. What goes on in this area? I ask. I'm looking at Marcus as I ask this question, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing to Amy. I've never been down here before. This is just a utility hallway, he says, but at the end here is the maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. There's also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hall, I take a glimpse ahead and feel a hair on the back of my neck stand on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hall extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continued farther down, and just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door further ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounded farther away, but no less demonic. How many of these things did you see? Dennis asked Amy. 3? But that's just what I saw. There could be more. What do they all look like? Dennis asked. Yeah. What are we dealing with? I don't even know how to explain them, she says. Just yawning. Monsters. That's the only word I can think of. My mind seems to struggle, just trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big and they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's about all I know for sure. You know, my ex-husband always said I'd let my work kill me, she continues, seeming unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way to the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out, angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow those things down, she says. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get to the hangar, fast. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There's an old hydraulic door set into the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years though. She looks to me, pleading her. Together we might be able to pull it close behind us to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if these doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get to the hangar now. Giving us more time is worth it. Damn it, Marcus says. We don't have time for this. Amy ignores him and starts feeling along the hallway for the groove. Dennis and I start looking as well. A minute passes and I see a small metal frame that runs from the floor to ceiling. Is that it? I ask. Yeah, Amy says. I look to the floor and see an old metal track that runs along the frame. Let's move it, I say. Amy, Dennis and I start pulling as hard as we can, but it barely budges an inch. Behind us, that static noise rings out again. My heart seems to stutter, and Marcus lets out a little whine. We're running out of time. We need to go. Marcus screams. Those things are getting closer every second. Help us, Marcus. It won't make a difference, he says. Shut up and help us. Then we'll find out, I shout. Reluctantly, Marcus walks over and grasps the door. We all groan as we strain to pull. It starts inching slowly and begins to move steadily. Once we get it started, it slides easily. As we near the hallway, closing off the hallway behind us, I think I can see the merest glimpse of an odd illuminated shape in the darkness. It's cut off by the slightest thump of the hydraulic door being pushed against the frame in the opposite wall. Amy turns to lock it into place. Great. Now let's haul ass, says Marcus, and we all turn to get moving again, still feeling unsure about our prospectus. The fact that yet another shrill sound elsewhere in the facility is not calming. There are two, and then there's two of them. It's almost like they're calling out to one another. The doors in the hangar sit up ahead, like an entrance to some enormous labyrinth. This chapter's quite long. When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. Computer terminals mounted on the wall nearby, and there's a blinking red light. Any idea what this means? I ask. It's an automated lock. A fail-safe from the lockdown, Amy says. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asks, the fear in her voice more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override from there first, and then the terminal will open the hangar doors. The command center on the second floor? I ask. Yeah. Amy shakes her head and let out a nervous laugh. Are you kidding? She asks. We just pulled that hydraulic door and blocked off the hallway, remember? If we want to get into the hangar, we have to get back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies. There is another elevator, but we'll need to go through the biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest. I say, you two go. You know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, but we need to be armed. There is no fucking way I'm giving Marcus the gun. Amy here. I hand Amy the rifle, and she turns to go. Marcus gives me a concerned look, but follows along behind her. Once Amy and Marcus make it a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors? I asked. Yeah, I think so, Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door and try to open it and find it's locked. Don't push it with your shoulder, you're gonna break your shoulder. I'ma kick it! Oh no, I have a fucked knee. Ah. I don't need my arms. I need my legs to run. I give it a hard shove, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try again, that's when I hear a gunshot from just down the hallway. My first thought is that Amy and Marcus have come upon one of those things, one of the monsters. But I don't hear any of that strange static sound that I've come to associate with them. Sorry. Alarm bells go off in my head, and before I know it, I'm heading back down the hallway from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get into that maintenance room. Where are you going? He asks. I don't bother answering him, as I bound straight through the door where Amy and Marcus went. Ooh, a bitch gonna get shot. Oh, this is a lovely room. More jam. As I enter the biokin room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I'm fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out of the intersection of the halls up ahead. I think I overhear a voice. A woman's voice. It's Amy. Stop! Let go of the gun! I run up ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I am seeing, but it makes no sense. Not at all. Marcus is wrestling with Amy, trying to take her gun away. When this doesn't work, he throws her to the ground and starts choking her. Her face is turning purple. Her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway, but acts as if what I was doing is perfectly normal. We know that Marcus is fucked. Get rid of that prick. Stop him. I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down in a hard arc across the bridge of his nose, and rewarded with a sick cracking sound. Yes! He cries out as he falls to the ground, looking at me as if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches her neck and gasps for breath. I start to fear that I was a moment too late, as I see the rifle has been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this as well. It's the same moment that I do. I want to hit him for the sheer satisfaction of hitting him again. Yeah. I deliver a surprisingly strong blow with my right hand, clipping his chin from my awkward position. I'm in the process of planting a knee into his chest to hold him down, when his left foot comes out of nowhere, landing hard. The kick catches me squarely in my ribs, knocking the breath out of me. "What the hell are you doing?" he yells at me. "By killing her, I'm saving us. All of us. This was her fault." I sense that he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just attack her while we were all together? The answer is simple. We might have stopped him. He wanted to kill her in private. And then what? He would have done the same thing to Dennis and me. It seems fitting, really. When we first came upon Marcus, he held a gun on us. I had been so relieved to see another human being that I underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle. Still laying on the floor, we start wrestling for possession. But I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts to inch the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position I do not want to be in, but I start pushing back hard. But if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I prefer the bullet to go, especially in this room full of chemical tanks. Ooh. Oh, it could end real bad if it hits the tanks. It could blow up and kill all of us. I force it towards Marcus. I need to sneeze again. Fuck. I'm so sneezy. I grunt as I push the muzzle towards his face. Realizing that he's literally looking down the barrel of a gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. It makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around to him. For a moment I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter, and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. "Her people," he says. "It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this." I look at Amy and wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she's managing to draw her few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. "You wouldn't know," Marcus says. "You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it was like to..." He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping on the floor like a human projectile. I don't have the time to aim carefully. I have to react fast. I'm not going to be able to shoot him. I'm just going to dodge. His aim is poor and his strength is failing. I dodge him easily. I don't want to have a gunshot going off to alert those creatures to where we are. Make a hard jab of the butt of the rifle, striking him in the chest. Something crunches and he lets out a whoosh of air. Whoosh! He crumples for a moment and then goes to his knees. He roars in pain on the floor for only a few moments. After a few moments, I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. The bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come to us. "This place is evil, along with everyone involved," he wails on the floor. "If you are taking her side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you better do so now, you coward." The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me for stopping him, makes me think that he'll deliver on his threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting me to make sure he doesn't come back to fight us. But I'm not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just have him left behind. Ooh, the difficult decisions. If I'm being real, I just want to kill him. I mean, he's probably going to die, but like, I don't know, like, dang, I don't know, he's such an asshole, like, such an asshole. But also I'll be wasting a bullet, like quite literally wasting a bullet, because I don't think there's very much ammo. Like, what if I need this bullet later? The hard decision. Okay. Honestly, I feel like he's gonna come back and fuck shit up. He's already bringing them to us by like screaming like a little bitch. So... I aim for his head and start to squeeze the trigger, but I can't complete the motion while I'm looking at him. I close my eyes tight and squeeze the trigger. The muzzle bursts and I hear Marcus crumple to the floor. It's not for another 10 seconds or so that I realize I've been standing still, frozen, with my eyes closed and my teeth clenched. I try to avoid looking at Marcus's body. Instead, I lean down to Amy. You okay? I ask. She nods slowly. Have to go, she says, her voice raspy. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm so she can get up to her feet. We start forward and I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, Amy says. You'll need to come up with me to the command center now. They'll be back from soon. I will be back from soon. I stare at Marcus's dead body for a moment, trying to comprehend the fact that my own hands caused him to die. That there's a turning point in my life that I'll never recover from. But there's no time to wait now. As I look for him, another high-pitched static sound rings out from elsewhere. It's louder, more ferocious. Amy takes off, presumably brought towards the other elevator doors she had mentioned moments ago. As we move out, I look back once more at Marcus's body, motionless. We start running, and after the first few strides, another noise sounds out. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of the recordings I've heard of whale songs. A sound of metallic creaking and crashing echoes through the door I came in. They've reached the hydraulic door pull. They've reached the hydraulic door we've pulled, she says, confirming what I'm thinking. The sound grows louder, as it's clear they're struggling with it, which is good. We have a bit more time. I speed up my step and follow Amy as she leads to the other elevator. Yeah, whale songs. How soothing at this horrible moment. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way to the elevator doors. She's panting furiously but pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, likely a result of Marcus's attack. This makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked staring down at her as he tried to deliver her to death. How she is still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus, I say. It's not your fault, she interrupts. At least you handed me the gun. I just hope we find a way to survive this mess. We'll be fine. Don't worry. We'll be fine. I'm not so sure, she says, her eyes fixed straight ahead. I'm not sure I can blame her. I just wanted to say something encouraging, I guess. We finally come to the elevator. At the end of a row of silos, the elevator doors slide open slowly. At that moment we hear something behind us. A strange sort of whistling sound. We step inside and turn around to face the biochem room. Thankfully, we've been given a few moments to spare. The elevator doors remain open for 3 seconds before they start to slide close again. In those 3 seconds, I see a large shape floating towards us. A phosphorescent, like white glowing. A phos... What? Yeah. Phosphorescent, like white glow outlines and... Oh my god, that sentence is fucked. A phosphorescent, like white glow, outlines an impossible shape. Rest in peace, Marcus. Nah, he can rest in heck. Rest in heck. Behind it, I see another shape that's also entered the biokin room, and another. The third one breaks away from the other two. Taking a quick right, it moves with eerie speed. They are heading in the direction of Marcus's body. Honestly, the thought of them festering on his corpse doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the button to close the elevator door over and over, but they stay open for what seems like an eternity. I curse whoever designed these damn doors. Anya, hide. We hide. Amy and I slide ourselves up against the side of the elevator, trying to avoid being seen. But I can't help peek around the corner. That's not how hiding works! You failed your stealth check. I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see them in a clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shape, and their colours, but my mind can't quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what these things are. They are grey and white, and seem to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages, but use them to glide. They move like ghosts, but seem to jerk every few feet or so. But I'm pretty sure that this jerking effect is not the result of them moving, but my mind's inability to understand how they're moving exactly. It's also more than their appearance that makes the mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inwards, as if the space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. What peculiar effect on the air makes their movements seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle and see that my ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots, or I'm gonna have to be choosy. Rest in heck, Marcus! Yes! Rest in heck! Hold on. Give me 1 second before I go next. Um, you should follow me on Twitter and and hashtag rest in heck, Marcus. Shameless plug. Anyway, I'm not gonna shoot. I'm gonna save ammo because I don't think shooting these things are gonna do anything. They're made of light. You ever tried to shoot a fire? Don't work. Shooting the fire won't put the fire out. This is a bad idea. They keep advancing, even though I know the doors may not close in time. I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist, and I'm not even sure if a gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall and elevator door, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and curls into a ball in the far corner of the elevator crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping those creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar doors where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open now. I think the next couple of chapters are going to be quite long, so we'll go into chapter 3, see what our stats are, and then for the next like 30 minutes, we'll play something else. The blunt truth. You and 59% of players told Dennis he'll probably be fine. Slow them down. You and 35% of players sided with Amy on pulling the hydraulic door. Who to trust? You and 69% of players gave the gun to Amy. Murder or mercy? You and 42% of players killed Marcus. Now or later? You and 68% of players conserved your bullets for later instead of shooting the creatures. Dang. I thought more people would have pulled the hydraulic door as well as murdered Marcus. Well, actually, murdering Marcus, that's like a pretty decent half and half. Yeah, decent. Okay, so hopefully, if not, then I'll do things. Yee. Have good eat. I'll catch up with you later. God, same. So for like the last 30 minutes, we play this game called Reigns. All good. I'll yeah, jump into chat with you later. Goodbye. Thank you again, Aiden. I can play with my controller. Building castles. So this is basically just a you choose different things. You are the you are a noble. Yes, I am the king. Yes. So you're the one who... I don't know what that word is. Who my throne and sent me to this dungeon to rot for eternity? No. Well, you're in charge of this mess now. Good luck with that. You're all pretty crazy. You'll see. What? Just try to keep the balance between the four powers to keep your head on its shoulders. Sure. The spirit looks at you thoughtfully and then disappears. You enter the courtroom. Yeah, so basically, what that guy just said, you need to keep the power balanced. The merchants would like to create a new guild and send their representatives to the court. Nothing is happening this year. The army is bored to death. Oops. The Kingdom of the South claims that you're betrothed to their young princess, declining a trigger of war. Yes, she's my wife. Your soldiers are bullying some priest and their congregation into paying money for their protection. Make them stop. No. Woof! I agree. Nice. The Queen of the South is offering you 40 books. We should build a library. Yes. It is your 20th birthday, my lord. We should celebrate. Yes. We should create a museum of silence. Museum of science to collect all living creatures. I can help in my spare time. Yes. We should attack the Kingdom of the South. They are growing stronger every day. I thought I was betrothed to the Kingdom of the South. I don't like Justice Thomas. He's a lazy fraud. No. A great fire is destroying your castle, my lord. They have the treasury. Your church is weak and the people are blasphemous. Yes. Give us enough power to enforce the divine justice in your country. The Pope is ready to pay the price. Yes. My lord, I'm the master of Sherwood, the merchants, the merchants guild master. Please accept a token of gratitude. Yes. Thank you. A new farming technique has considerably improved the harvest. What do you want to do with this income? Let's share it. There is a cholera outbreak in the capital. It's the Blue Death. Treats population. Do you need some credit, my lord? 800 gold pieces at 5% interest. No. My family laughs at the size of our castle. We should build a bigger palace. We need better defences. The barbarians from the east, for eastern baronies, are at the border of our kingdom. No. Invading armies are at our door. The army is too weak to do anything. What? And that's what happens when you die. Ugh. 19 years in power, I bet. So this is basically what this game is. So I'll just play this for a little bit, and then we'll end it at we'll probably end it at 1:45. So we'll do this for another 10 minutes, and then stop the stream for the night. Yeah. Are you the young king? Okay. Just kidding. I know we've been through this already. It's a curse, see? I'm not sure. We will remember each and every king in this dynasty. Every compromise, every death for ages. Wow. It is said that only the devil will allow us to blissfully forget the cursed kings. But does he even exist? Yeah, he does. That's an interesting thought. Maybe he does. Maybe we will find him eventually. We shall. The spirit drifts away slowly. My lord, a good doctor just saved the life of my nephew. He is a bit of a magician. He is here now. Let him in. I'm a doctor, alchemist, poisoner. I can handle life for you, or occasionally death. Glad we have you. It is fine company of your drunken soldiers. A fine company of your drunken soldiers ransacked the abbey. We want justice. Sure. My lord, would you be interested in a bold enterprise? No. The river drop was dry again. We should build a dam. Yes. This dam will limit the Vikings' access to water. Are you sure you want to proceed? Yes. They're talking, it's going to be funny as well. The goldsmiths of the capital created a cartel to organize their trade. They want your approval. Sure. We need to build a new church. Sure. Your soldiers' wages are too low. Please pay them properly and on time. No. I would like to conduct a mass to the ceremony of your father. The South is asking for help in their conflict with the West. Should we send our army as neutral observers? They pay. Yes. You should be charitable. A lot of poor people don't have a house. Let's build some. Yes. We want to build a new marketplace. It will open our economy to foreign trade. Our soldiers are overzealous. Now we're both at war with the South and West. Nice. We could earn some money by increasing the rent on the houses we built for the poor. No! If you were an animal, what would it be? A lion? Yes. Cereals are very cheap these days, my lord. You should adjust the price of bread. Just to get some money. My lord, Boarhat Loosetongue managed to set a lion loose in the streets of the capital. It's pandemonium. The mines are full of gold, my lord. We are rich. We should create a pilgrimage to the tomb of St. Almond. I'd like to conduct new research on the fabled transmutation of lead into gold. Would you finance me? Yes. There are too many people to execute. I need help from the army. Yes. Oh, nice. Our flag should be changed. It's not really fashionable. Nah. Would you like to play Red Dwarf, my lord? Let's start with a small bit. I don't want to ruin you. No. I know how that can go. It's bad. The folks of a remote village are teaching their children to spit on the king's men. Should we make an example? Yes. We're at war with too many enemies. It will cost a fortune. We should negotiate a siege fire. Yes. The King of the West is offering us money to buy a small part of the country. I'd like to conduct new research into weapons and welfare. Will you help? Message says a village to the south a village in the south is encouraging polygamy. Yes. Oh. I see the church. And the pilgrimage of St. Armand draws thousands of people who would like to monetize this event. My lord, would you like to taste my cake? Too hot for that. It was very good cake. Would you like a hug? Yes. Oh! Our beautiful capital smells of garbage half the year. Let's build a sewer system. Yes. Alright, let's follow the dog. Rix wants to play. No, not that. Alex runs around the castle and brings you back to the throne room. No, not there. Alex brings you to the forest. Be nice. From now on, you will know more precisely how. Oh, nice. Too much sugar, my lord, it will kill you. We could way to die. Ooh. The Merchants Guild is selling goods traditionally produced for the Abbey. Put an end to this. Oh. People think you're a good king. We should tax them more. No. A convenient, a convenient nun. Rex, what a good boy. He is. I really want to find the thing with the dog. It would be great. A coven of nuns has started meowing like cats. It's spreading to the village. General? Oh no. We would like to raise a new tax for the church, shared with the crown, of course. Long live the king, you're turning 50 years old today. Yes. Can't believe you did this. Deal with it. This is the coldest winter of the last 30 years. After the weak harvest, your people are starving. I'll give them supplies. The river drop is flooding a large part of the country. We need help from the church and the army. No. A group of people have become enraged and are now hunting witches. Are we allowed to kill if necessary? Fuck. Apparently this derangement was caused by rye grain poisoning. Should we burn our stocks? Yes. Reasonable chance your people will starve in the following years. Okay. Rex moans in despair, something is not right. Pet the dog. Oh! Time is gone, space is insane, here it comes, here again, you feel your mouth closing as if you've never had one. Little king, little puppet. No words. Few thoughts. Many deaths. Centuries ago you asked for eternal power in exchange for your soul. Fortunately you didn't mention anything about immortality. Each of your deaths is enjoyable. But evermore, so is the choice I will let you make now. Go again, little puppet, and see you in 666 years. Well, he's a good boy now, isn't he? The next character you say yes to will die. A ship has been quarantined. It may be the plague. Shall we quarantine the whole port? I'm down for killing bishops. You've got gout, my lord. I recommend less meat and more vegetables, and no love stories of any kind. Sure. There's been an explosion in the capital. We don't exactly know what happened. Should we close the gates to the city? Yeah. Enforce the state of emergency. That is the only way to deal efficiently with these terrorists. I'm pretty confident this concoction of leeches fed on maiden blood will cure your gout. You drink the potion, it makes you ill and delirious for days. Days on end, it doesn't cure the gout. You feel suddenly very old. The mountainous region near the eastern border is unlawful and unruly. What are the options? We can appoint Sir Adamar to govern that region and make him pay for the privilege. Sure. I accept, sire. It is a great honor to bring your rule to the country. Be fair. Thanks to Sir Adamir's actions, the mountainous region are corrupt as well as unruly. That was quick. Sir Adamir is at the head of a large horde of half-bandits. Should I send the army? You should organize a curfew. The streets of the capital are not safe at night. We need better defenses. Barbarians from the eastern barons are... Oh no, it'll end either way. Invading armies are at our door. The army's too weak to do anything. What? Alright. I think with that, we'll call it there. So you can probably still hear the game. Awesome. Thank you for coming to the stream tonight. Hopefully it was interesting. I'll finish out that game next week. There's only 2 more chapters left, and then from there... Oh, actually, next week I might be doing either... I'll have a look and see how long the next 2 chapters will be. If I don't finish it earlier in the week, or something like that, then I might be doing Stardew Valley or Raft, or attempting Phasmophobia for the first time, which will be interesting. But again, Thank you for coming to the stream. I accidentally closed my TikTok button. Did I? No, I didn't. But yeah, still raising money for Cure Cancer Australia, and we still have another 2 whole months of that, so hopefully we can get up to that 500 goal. It'd be awesome. But thank you for tuning into the stream. Hope you have an amazing rest of your week, as well as an amazing long weekend. And yeah, have a good rest of your evenings. Bye!